How much progress have you seen from your group so far?
Quite a bit, from the spring to camp. I think that we've made decent progress. There's still some detailed things we need to iron out, some fundamentals, footwork, some hand placement things in the run game. But ultimately, I think we're making pretty good progress.
With Malik Knowles specifically, where is he at right now in your eyes?
I think he's moving in the right direction. I think he's still a young player. Obviously, he played in the 4 games last season, got some games under his belt, and so you can see that he's getting more confident in his abilities. He's very talented. I think the upside for him is very high. He's got a high ceiling, and I think that he's going to continue to get better. So just, again, the details with him, ironing those things out, some technique, some fundamental things. But ultimately, he has such a good athletic base. I think he's going to be a good player for us.
You lost a couple guys since the spring, and Dalton, I guess, now is kind of the lone real veteran. How much have you seen him kind of take that?
He has.
To heart?
Yeah, the leadership role that Dalton's taken, he's taken that to heart. I think in the summer he did a really good job as far as just getting the wideouts together. And it's never perfect, and he's continuing to learn, that his role outside of just playing receiver, he has to have a leadership role for us because he is the true veteran in that group. So I think as camp continues on, obviously throughout the season, he has to continue to be a leader for us.
How many receivers do you see this team realistically using this season from game to game?
It varies. Off the top of my head, I think last season, just in this system that we run, there would be anywhere from 7 to 8 guys that we would carry. And again, we factor in special teams also. So, I think a max number would be 8. 7 would probably be a standard number. But at the end of the day, I think with the wideouts, they have the body frames, the athleticism to have to be special teams for us. So they have to be able to make an impact on teams. And I think that's how you get on the bus ultimately. If you're a guy that's on the bubble to get into that mix at receiver, you better be able to play special teams for us.
One guy we haven't heard a lot about is Sebastian Taylor. Just haven't heard tons of things about him. Where's he at in his progressions this summer?
He's doing well, and I think you haven't heard much about him. I think he quietly works. He had a good day today, actually. I think catching the ball. I haven't watched the film yet or anything, but I think that today, just some of the plays I saw him do live, he's making some plays, making some catches for us. And so for him, it's consistency, it's confidence, and again, he has that prototypical body that you like out there on the perimeter, but he has to continue to grow in his confidence and his abilities because he has some really good ability.
What does Keenan Garber offer as a young guy at that position?
Speed, fluidness. He's a kid, a great prospect for us, a great kid. He's in the film room learning and studying and things like that. So ultimately with him, he's a true freshman. He's going to figure out how we run things, how the system operates. And but I think ultimately when you just see him on the hoof, it's speed and his fluid ability to run.
How about young blood?
Return game?
What's that about the return game?
What have you seen in the return game?
Return game, we got good returners from running backs to some DBs to some wideouts. So we're still trying some guys out in the return game.
Does Chris Aaron have a future in receiver, you think?
I don't know. He has an athletic future here. I think that he's cerebral, he's smart, having the quarterback background, but athletically, I think his ability, the sky's the limit for him. So guys like that, we find a way in this system, in this program, to get athletes on the field, and it doesn't matter. Whether it's defense, offense, a different position on offense, we're going to try to find guys a role. And, typically it starts with special teams, and ultimately we find out what they can do for us and where they fit.
How about Joshua Youngblood?
Josh is doing well. As it's been noted, he's a guy that coach has been high on. We've all been high on him just as far as character, his pedigree, coming from Tampa and some of the things that he brings to the table from an explosiveness standpoint. But he's a kid. He's still a true freshman. He's still learning. And so, ultimately, as I look at that entire group, those guys still have to continue to get better fundamentally and in their technique. And Josh is one of those kids that he has to do those things. But he'll give you effort. He's going to give great effort. And now it's just tightening up the details.
What do you envision as the best case scenario for him in year one?
Year one, I think with the redshirt rule, year one, best case scenario is for him to get on the field and basically kind of get some game reps and then kind of see where, as he progresses, after, a game or two here or there, see how he fits, see how he actually works in a normal weekly schedule during the season. right now this is like camp. This is like NFL camp here. So there is no classes. There are no other distractions. So come fall, there's going to be new distractions. There's going to be a lot more people on campus. There's going to be classes to go to. The schedule changes. So ultimately, I think once we kind of figure out where guys fit and athletically, and once they learn our system, then you kind of start talking about, is this guy ready, for the big time? Athletically, he can do those things, but once you get a full season schedule, sometimes those kids may taper off, or sometimes they rise to the occasion. And I expect him to rise to the occasion just because of the type of kid he is.
One more, guys.
Is Keenan another guy you'd like to utilize in that way, be able to get him on the field with the 4-game cushion?
You'd like to, you like to find out if a kid can do something for you, in a certain game. But in those discussions, we'll all have those as a full staff, obviously. And again, like I said, I think most of the time those conversations start with special teams. If a kid can go down and do something for us, and Keenan's still working, and I think ultimately, that whole group will continue to work and work on the things that we need to get better at.